Thank you very much for joining this webinar. We are pretty happy about the high level of interest that this topic raised, even because, just to remember as the first steps, this was one of the training capacity building topic, which was of higher interest, maybe the second topic for which all thematic projects participants, all of you, showed a high level of interest. That was a real challenge to start thinking with Susanna and Francesco about the structure of this training session, how to make theory and key concepts and key checklist on circular business models actionable for thematic projects. So let's start with a very quick introduction. The three persons that you will hear from today are Francesco Niglia from COISLab. He's a PhD in complex systems engineering. He's research director of COISLab. He dealt with analysis of impact innovation policies and strategies for 20 years, a consultant for technology transfer. His expertise is over ethics and social innovation, responsible innovation, modeling of innovation, ecosystem and strategies, and development of models for complex systems. We had already a previous cooperation with Francesco through different Horizon projects. He's also an evaluator of Horizon project, and that's why we are pretty happy to have him together with us, starting this piece of work together. While I'm referring to a piece of work together, so first of all, recapping how we got here, the previous steps. Let's also consider that few thematic projects are new. They weren't already participating when the works of the community of practice started. So the first steps was in 2024, where we had a pretty extensive learning needs survey, and it served us to identify training priorities for coming from your needs. We had a first training session very much appreciated on lesson learned from Green Deal implementation. We just looked about clustering key needs from the topic and how they were fitting, matching with the priorities of in 24, before the European election, priorities of the Green Deal. In April 2025, we have a much participating training in Sarajevo in presence about behavioral change analysis. All the tools are still available and made available to partners. We worked with at the time, there were 14 thematic projects. We worked with them to develop some behavior card that should guide them in first steps into analysis of behavioral change. We had a Breaking Barriers webinar that was open to other stakeholders, where we showcased some of the project's best cases on behavioral change analysis and action. Then we have today's session, which is really focused on circular business models. Maybe let's look also at what is waiting us still in 2025. So after this first session, we will have, together with Francesco, some bilateral dialogue with the more interested thematic projects. During this webinar, we will have some interactive questions. Please be active in them. Leave us your feedback. We won't be able to read and go through all your feedback during today's session because you are so many, but those are precious inputs that will serve us to build the next training session that will take place in November, early December. This will be targeting thematic projects, targeting all of you. We will start from business cases, examples, specific needs analysis that we will collect through this webinar, and we will discuss together how to move a step forward and plan potentially some specific action and some more specific input to support projects in business modeling. Before the second session, which is still to be confirmed in terms of date, but it will be late November, the latest early December. We will provide you a date with Maria the soonest. But before that, we will have, during the next community of practice meeting on the 29th of October, we will have a 30-minute sort of masterclass with the European Investment Bank. It was confirmed on Friday. We just need the name of the speaker, but we are discussing with them about a session to introduce the project clinic and the other services for assistance for circular economy projects set up by European Investment Bank in the framework of the Circular City Center. So you will have an introduction of the how the City Center work and how to access the service that they provide, as well as a short discussion on the key criteria they use for selecting project to finance based on bankability. What we will start, the last date, sorry, it's December 2025, not June 18, but we will have another very short, as simple as possible, not to make you lose time, another survey on training needs, because we have to listen from the new projects that are joined the community, and maybe some of the old projects, they have something new in terms of needs to express, in terms of what they would like to have training on. Last part of my introduction is just to explain how the training methodology is working within the innovative sustainable economy mission. We are having sort of two tracks for each of the key topics we identify. So for the first semester of 25, it was behavioral change. We have one specialized training session dedicated and specifically targeted to thematic projects participants, where we have, like today, where we have a more informal discussion, where we can collect inputs and where we can understand state of art in your project, where you stand at, and what are your specific needs. And then we try to convey what we learned through the first session into a sort of external track, what we call training for takers. So we open our doors for external stakeholders, especially from the community, the overall community of practice, and we showcase, discuss, go a bit more in detail, starting from concrete cases from the community of practice, from the thematic project. This happened in the last semester for the behavioral change topic. This is happening again, starting today with the business model, circular business model topic that we are inaugurating today. A quick look at today's agenda. What we will go through, circular business models and investment readiness, more or less 120 minutes. We will try to be a bit shorter if we manage. The expert introducing all the and following all the group is Francesco Niglia. We will work with him until December. There will be mostly today some theory we have to go through. We will try already today to apply this theory to the key areas of the thematic projects, and we will have some dialogue on your state of art. And just to, the structure will be, we will have lots of contents to be delivered. It will be pretty dense, so don't hesitate to put your comments in the chat. And we, at the end of each slot, we have an interactive session through VooClub. I will show you QR code and how to access it in 1 second. Please don't hesitate to pose any question you might have in the chat or any comment, any input you would like to provide for the discussion. We will try to address all of them as much as we can during the day. If we don't manage to address them for timekeeping reason, they will be, in any case, valuable input for us to keep working from here to until the second session we will have at the end of the year. So don't hesitate, please be as proactive as you can. Don't hesitate to pose questions, provide examples from your project. This should be a live session as much as possible. Then I would propose to start breaking the ice. Please take out your mobiles or just open another window of your browsers and go to wclap.com/QDZMLZ. Then keep the browser or the mobile open, because we will have other 3 slots for question and answers and to collect your input. I will just wait another 15 seconds. Oops, sorry. Okay, 37 participants. Maybe, Susanna, if you can copy the link in the chat so will move to the question. So, first question, let's get to know each other. Let's understand a bit why you're here. So help us tailor the contents of this at the follow-up training session. Take a bit, but not so much of your time, and let us know why you are here. Maybe you are already mature enough reasoning and you are already thinking at securing funding. Maybe you just need to talk with your stakeholders. You are required to do it for some project reason or for other compliance reason. You have solution you want to scale up. Thank you. That's 22 out of 46. Let's say another count of 15 seconds. Yes, you are able to also to, don't hesitate if you already answered to provide comments on the answer you've given. If we don't manage to go through all these comments today, we will. Other 5 seconds. Good. So we start to have a snapshot. So the key reason is engagement with the private sector. So starting or activating or reinforcing a dialogue. With another good case for the need for some compliance reason with the project requirements or other legislative requirements or other requirements to develop sustainable business cases. But there's a good share, 1/4 of you, which are already thinking about moving to secure funding to make your project more sustainable. Let's move to the next question. Before I move to the next question, we will share the same link. If you don't have time to answer it today, or if you joined later the webinar, or for whatever reason, we will send you, we will share with all of you the link for static version of this question. So you will have time to keep feeding the questionnaire, don't worry. I'm moving to the next question. Where are you? So let us understand more. This is a discussion already initiated through the thematic working groups on your demo sites. Let us know where your project activities or your demo activities are in terms of business model development. Is there how mature is the reasoning you already made in terms of developing business model for financial sustainability over time of your activity? So here we have a very good balance, but still. And for who's answering on the first item, don't hesitate to add comments here or in the chat of Teams. Leave us some trace on who you are and how to reach you. Also for the point two, of course, those are the more mature options. 27 out of 50, still waiting half a minute, but no more. See who. That's good to know. Let us know who do you are. Write us in the chat. And that's a nice case we would like to work further together until December. Okay, so we have kind of a pyramid here. So we have a majority, but not that vast. We that still didn't assess opportunities or potential for business modeling expertise and exercises. Someone who just started and someone who already has some business idea. I saw maybe here is the last breakout ice-breaking question. So maybe I saw a hand raised. We can make an exemption and open it to the floor. Please, very quickly. I don't know, Valentina Marchi, if it was.
No, sorry, Francesco.
Good.
Sorry.
And before moving on, let me invite again who wrote these comments to write in the Teams chat some more information about a quick link, some very quick information about the example, the case we are talking on. I think that now we can, I can give the floor to Francesco Niglia, and we can move on to the core part of our session.
Thank you. I want to thank you, Francesco, Susanna, but also the coordinator, to have selected me for this very important task. And I'm very happy to talk to all of you. I have read a little bit, not so much, of all your thematic projects. And today, okay, we have 2 hours, I guess less than 2 hours, right? We have to finalize at 4 o'clock. All these items will need at least a university semester to be taught. So I know, and you know, that will be a kind of pre-analysis, preview of what is interesting, what should be done. And we hope, as already Francesco explained before, we hope to elicit some information from you. So what is more interesting for you or most needed for you to deepen for the next round? Please do not hesitate to write down and suggest us, and even comment on that. So let's go, Francesco. I hope I will be able. I'm sure I will be able. Just tell me if you see something.
Yes, I can see it. The presentation.
Okay.
Perfect.
So we start. This is the agenda. Okay, we have 1 hour and a half. Okay. So we start with the value of business models in circular economy. I am happy that you already had an event about the business models. So I guess most of this information, most of this slide will be not new for you. So let's start it. The kind of business models and value proposition design. I start with a very, very, very rough things. You know, I guess you know you know about the kind of business models. Here, this is the Circular Innovation Council. That is the one that I prefer as schematization. These are the business models for the circular economy. I call them families. I will explain later that. Why? Because these are not only models, and each family is characterized by different main drivers, and deepening the implementation of the family and the customization of a family to a specific initiative, a specific project will give us the actual business model. So we have here 5 families: circular supplies, products as a service, life extension, sharing platform, and resource recovery. That roughly identifies a good representation of all the things that up to now could be done in the circular economy. Here, these are the very short descriptions. So circular supplies when they leverage the waste as an asset. Product as a services leverage the service of using the product. Life extension is about how to design and engineer a product. So applicability, reusability, reconditioning, whatever, recyclability. Sharing platform is more about what can be shared among different players, such as even assets, industrial assets or knowledge assets. And resource recovery focuses at the end of the use, end of life, let's say, but towards the end of life of a product, of resources. These are roughly the 5 families. The 5 families are not silos. Usually, a business model belongs mainly to a family because it has more characteristics that belong to a family, but it is always 99% times it is an hybrid version. So behind the business model family, there are many variants. This is very important. And as I said, defining the business model for the circular economy is not simple. It's not so difficult, but it takes very variables to be considered. And it is not static, so because these are not linear business model. You know very well, you are working on projects on circular economy, so you know exactly where is the issues. And the values that are created, this is the first message, the values that are created in each model are perceived differently by different stakeholders participating in your initiative and in your model. When we apply those families to the thematic projects areas of your projects, we can use this kind of schematization. Smart and sustainable supply chain, that is, let's say, is the family of circular supplies. Product life extension and service business model are the other family. Knowledge sharing and collaborative from platforms are sharing platforms, and resource optimization and industrial symbiosis are resource recovery. I had added another category that is family, circular design and eco innovation. This is a kind of family that business model family that embeds in equal part all the elements of the other. If you want to have this short scheme that provides you, the how to connect the generic families that you can find in the literature on the thematic projects and thematic areas of your projects, tailored families, which we will discuss on today on key parameters, because I mean the key parameters, what does it mean? That smart and sustainable supply chain have the supply chain transparency, traceability, and responsible sourcing practice, and these belong to the circular supplies. This is the same for all the 4 families that you see, and it is important introducing a little bit better the circular design and eco innovation, because there is a specific focus for design for circularity, eco innovation. So with materials, with raw materials, with user materials, and life cycle assessment that is very mapped until from the beginning to the end of the life and the use of a product or a resources. So we will work on the second column, smart on TP tailor-made families. If you want, I mean, it is important. I will go on these slides. You will find on the content of the slide if needed, but for time constraint, I prefer to skip some slides. So you know that there is, sorry, you can find here a more detailed description of the 5 families. Okay. Now, this is very important, at least for me. I hope also for you, also for discussing. There is a conceptual map. This is not from literature. This is how we approach, me and my group approaches, but it's also shared with other groups. How to map, how to position these different families. This is a rough positioning because in reality, all the families are have some kind of tentacles that go in the other areas. But if we are able to divide with sharing, knowledge sharing and idle assets sharing on one axis, on the other axis, sharing of resources, on use of resources and use of products of services, we can, in a very good overview, we can position all the 5 families in this scheme. And as you can see, the circular eco-design belongs to whole, and knowledge sharing and collaborative platform are more, you know, are more related, have more elements on sharing products or sharing services and sharing knowledge, something that is an intangible assets, more an intangible assets rather than the industrial symbiosis that needs sharing of plants, of the kind of assets. Just keep in mind that the main driver of subdivision of these families are the kind of resources or product, or if we are talking about sharing materials, sharing ideas, or sharing plants or machinery or whatever. I go fast, but please remember, as what has been anticipated by Francesco Lembo, if you have any question, please don't hesitate to write. Or if you ask me to come back to a slide. And so it is important. The families that you have just seen can be applied to all the focus areas of your projects. There is we don't need to be necessarily in industrial symbiosis if the thematic areas is industry. That's for an example. The family provides the core idea, but some direction can be outlined, okay? And within the family, we can find different model types. Hybrid models will be the most common. There is a slide that will show you this, because there is no more, I mean, in circular economy, and with so many different stakeholders, with so many different values of each resource, and the use of resource and residual value of a service or a product or whatever it is of the knowledge, there are too many variables. And with these many variables, we have to find a different equilibrium. With different equilibrium, define different kind of business models. So a business model enables the long-term sustainability, like in the linear idea of business, but the circular economy business model also enable social, environmental, and reuse, and so also economic, because this is the most important. So the key leverage when you have to identify the good business model for your initiative, for your project, you have to keep in mind that it should be sustainable in terms of resources, economy, stakeholders in interest and fulfillment. That is a lot. So the circularity is one of the reasons why the resource availability should be a little bit much more smooth to ensure. but also you have to include social and environmental. I know that you have, I'm sure that you have built all your projects following these 4 points, and this is good, but just it's worth to remind. Now, this is another important information. The business model is identified by the interaction among stakeholders and the added value they provide to the others. The complex, let's say, let me use this word, if it is not complex, the entirety of the stakeholders and the kind of interaction is called the business ecosystem. Business ecosystem will not be repeated in the slide, so I will not add another concept to the webinar today, but the business ecosystem and how it works identifies the business model. So the stakeholders interaction may vary and contribute differently, and this is the exercise that you have to learn. If you have not already done, you have to learn to do and to analyze them. This is very important. Otherwise, it is not possible, or it is very difficult understanding where the added value is created within the value chain of your initiative, and therefore it is difficult to find exactly how to balance. For each stakeholders, whatever it is, I have only listed few, but there could be many stakeholders depending on the kind of project. So the producer, manufacturer, reseller, users, whatever it is, transport, whatever. For each step of interaction, the step is the interaction between or among stakeholders. You have to understand which is the knowledge or the good transfer. And I'm rushing on this part because I want to show you more things later. And if we go on this scheme, the scheme of Ellen MacArthur Foundation is now one of the most used. So, I will not explain to you, so you know very well. But for me, these 4 stakeholders that are these 4 stylized, sorry, I mean, I'm not so good to make schemes, but I mean, these are 4 stakeholders. The purple stakeholders take all these, all is added value that could be good, that could be knowledge, that could be whatever, and provides the other. It could be resources, services, products, benefits, and then we have to check the added value. So when we have the map of all stakeholders, we have to perform this kind of exercise and finding that each stakeholder is satisfied in terms of expectation, in terms of interest. And the interest of stakeholders, it means that he has to, not to gain necessarily, but he has to, it has to have an added value at the end of the journey. I mean, we are talking about if a stakeholder is a public authority, or it is a territory or local agency, it will be no economic gain, but the added value could be, for example, a good environmental impact. So this is an equilibrium that we have to check. It is not simple, it is not impossible, and some project ideas are much more easy to fit in this kind of balance exercise. Other project ideas are more difficult for some gaps that I hope I will be able to show you where to find gaps. And but I mean, this is the game. Without a good analysis, you will not be able to find a good business model, a good model to which build upon a business. Now, the last slide is about the potential business model tailored from the families, tailored to your project. As you can see, these are different models. These are only, a kind of first rough overview of what could happen when we analyze a little bit more the needs and the characteristic of each initiative, in your case, your projects, that fit into each business model family. I will skip the next one, but sorry. We have this one. Okay. How to create values for customer, for value proposition design. Sorry. Okay. Now, it is important to, for circular economy, it is important to create, to define which is the value proposition. Where is the value? Where is the added value? It is not only environmental. It is not only social. It's everything. So I want you to show some criteria, some drivers for the value. So we're talking about personal, so jobs, pains and gains, proposition element for the circular value, and key consideration for value proposition design in a circular economy with some example. So this slide I know you know already because you are running a circular economy project. So in the value proposition, you have to go beyond the traditional benefit. You have to focus on life cycle of whatever supply value chain in your project. For me, that I work a lot on ethics and sustainability. I push on transparency and traceability because it is important to build. It is one of the first elements that build trust to the stakeholders, and engaging stakeholders, understanding the needs and involving them in the design process. Customer, jobs, pains and gains. For example, you have to understand if there is any needs on the society with the sustainability need on the first place, like the jobs. If there are some problematic that your customer or your clients or whatever and the stakeholders engaged need to solve, and also try to understanding or eliciting which are the benefits or the potential outcomes your stakeholders could keep from the circular economy balance, from the business balance. Sorry. Yeah, we have the elements are products or services, game creators, penalty. I go fast on this, if you agree, on this, too much text slides. But, for the elements, you have to consider products, services, how to gain creator, reducing environmental impact, providing access to innovative and other kind of eco-friendly products. And also how to, for example, pay relievers, how to offer a affordable payment option that if the economy is a problem, the economy is a problem of your stakeholders, whatever. And key considerations are the considering for creating your value proposition design is life cycle thinking, stakeholders integration, transparency and trust, long-term value, and innovation. So when you want to build in the design of your value proposition, consider all these 5 elements. Integrating stakeholders is the first one. Sorry if it is the second bullet point, but it is the first one. Without stakeholders, you will never be able to, to make something that is at least sustainable not even in the very short term. Transparency and trust support the stakeholder integration and support the stakeholders, willingness to be with you. Innovation makes your idea, your project, let's say, feasible, reliable, and also usable. And life cycle thinking is much more to considering the product life cycle, and this is very important for the circularity. When going to the delivering and sustaining long-term value, again, life cycle is optimizing this one when you deliver, when your project already started, when you have, sorry, the project, when you are delivering already, you are running this business model, the business, and continuous improvement is also important to consider. And you have to plan this continuous improvement mechanism and governance well before, well before the industrialization of your idea. I skip something. You have to break the barriers. This is the most relevant, most interesting comment for me, because customer, investor, society, and other stakeholders usually do not talk within each other. And the barriers that are those nice, if you don't see those gray circle, you have to break them. How to break its communication is to create a kind of hype in your about your project. And especially for investor, you have to provide, we will see better later, that your idea has a reduced risk, reducing investment risk, it has a good revenue stream, growth potential. These are all information that you should provide to break these kind of barriers of communication. The minimum elements to be considered are needs, priorities, tangible benefits, intangible benefits, and metrics and evidence. How to demonstrate, how to provide evidence to stakeholders. I mean, stakeholders could be the society, stakeholders could be the producers, stakeholders could be the transport company, whatever it is. But metrics and evidence of your business, of your model, of your idea should be provided to all your stakeholders. When go to customers and investors, for customers, you can find here a lot of information you can provide to customers. So key need, priorities, tangible benefits, intangible benefits. So, for example, when we want to communicate to customer what is our value proposition, this is an idea. Our clothing is made to last, saving you to money in the long run. I mean, these kind of are kind of examples. It's important you focus on metrics and evidence for each of your stakeholders. So, customer satisfaction score, customer retention rates, and referral rates. Like, these are the same. I will skip. For investors, you have to provide financial projection, ROI, profitability, whatever, market share, growth rate, risk assessment, SG score, because the intangible benefits are alignment with ESG, brand enhancement, social license, whatever. If we go on society, you have to discuss about the environmental impact assessment, social impact assessment, economic impact assessment. So these are the information that you should communicate and be grounded on what we have created, what we have done. And this is, let's say, these are the principal, not the only one, but the principal pillars upon which you should build your value proposition. And we have some example here. I will not go through too much in example. You know, we have this example. So mud jeans is list jeans. You have the link here, and customer benefit is that you buy something with reduced environmental impact. We have also rescue duty that is about addressing food waste. Sorry, we have C2C everywhere Spain that addresses marine pollution. You can find here only in all these examples you can find a very interesting value proposition that is a kind of communication. And also we have Refurbed in Germany that is about sustainable electronic, and Too Good To Go. I mean, I guess every one of us knows Too Good To Go. And now I don't know if we are in I know, Francesco, are you keeping the timing on it? Sorry, or Susanna? It's okay. I have 10 minutes, right?
More or less. Let's say that 10 minutes, and if you open, because now we have the tailored business models, 10 minutes, the next interactive session, and then we can go to metrics.
I will go fast. I'm sorry to go so fast, but I need to go fast. So when we talk about successful business models from Mediterranean Initiative, maybe you know already, just to want to discuss with you of some of them. So for example, there are several. Okay, there is EcoAlf, that is about the ocean plastic recycling, sorry, in Spain. Asi Marghera, that is an industrial symbiosis, very interesting example. AgriCircle, smart agriculture platform in Switzerland, and Albelal, I don't know how to pronounce, but it should be Albelal, regenerative farming in Spain. So the analysis framework is model characteristics, stakeholders value proposition, economic benefit, impact measurement, scalability. There is all this information is in the presentation. Now I will show to you, just because time constraint, I will show you this scheme, this collective scheme. So EcoAlf, for example, is a model family is sustainable supply chain. The specific model could be, it is the closed loop recycling, you know, that's business model. The core focus is ocean plastic recycling into fashion, and the key innovation is waste to fashion transformation. Asi Marghera is in industrial symbiosis and circular industrial ecosystem. AgriCircle is very interesting example. If you don't know it, it's a specific business model is the data-driven optimization, because it provides real-time agricultural data as a service for all the farmers. And Albelal is about regenerative agriculture. It's multi-stakeholder regeneration, but provides services and also resources to land restoration through farming. The primary stakeholders you can find here, which are the primary stakeholders, the core value proposition, the problem that they target, it is a social problem. It is a social territorial problem. So oceanic plastic pollution is a worldwide problem. Industrial waste and resource inefficiency is a social and more territorial problem. Agricultural waste and low farm productivity is a big problem. At the local level, land degradation and climate vulnerability is one of the characteristic of the Med area, the climate vulnerability. So we have different examples, sorry, and key tangible benefits with key intangible benefits. You can find them here, and all of them are characterized by tangible and intangible benefits. The direct economic value, these are the most relevant steps that build the added value, the possibility to make a business model to be sustainable for each of them. These are only the most relevant, but all of these examples build added value to each step. So for example, AgriCircle for farmer profitability, reduces losses, increasing the resilience of the community. Asi Marghera, investment attraction, regional competitiveness, cost saving. These are all most very important. You can also check here which is the indirect economic value, environmental and social impact, key success metrics, the most relevant ones. I repeat, these are only the most relevant ones, and scalability potential. As you know, we are here discussing about 12 elements, 12 categories of elements defining a successful story, successful initiative or project, as you can see. So you can understand how much, I don't want to say complex, because complexity is different concept, but how much information you have to gather from your project, from your initiative, and you have to be ready to measure somehow, to understand how much close or how much far you are from a kind of equilibrium. And you have also to include the metrics, okay, but also the analysis of scalability potential. Now, the next slides will provide you with the details for all of these examples. I will skip directly because, as you can see, for each example, we have 1, 2 customers, investors, shareholders, suppliers, local community, society, benefits, indirect and direct. Okay, so we have 7, 8 slides for each of these cases. And if you agree, I will skip them. You know, you can find examples here and you can read the examples. And we can go directly, I don't know. I'm sorry, I have to skip 1 to 1. I don't know how to skip all of them. So it is okay, Francesco, if we start the interactive assessment part 1, or I cannot see if there is any.
There's no question in the chat.
No question. May I say the last thing before the interactive assessment? Because I'm sorry to go fast, but I want to clarify that all these elements are elements that all the participants could come back to you, I guess, and then you to me to ask for more information later in the feedback of the or during the webinar or after, if they want to have more details or deepen the knowledge or deepen the case or whatever. You can use it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they can use this content. Now, please, sorry.
Thank you. So just to connect with the following parts.
I have to interrupt, right?
Could you share again the slide with the categorization? Yes, we will share the slide maybe while we open the VooClap. Just consider that also about what we already know about the EIB parameters for circular economy projects. They are pretty much similar. So the intention here is really to start chewing together the same language and the same categories. In the next parts, we will move a bit more vertically through first to understanding a bit more in detail the different metrics that would be applicable. Second, to look a bit and tailoring these metrics for thematic projects and thematic area categories. So I don't know if before I'm sharing again the VooClap, I see Maria asking the type of families or examples you presented. Francesco, which is the slide with summing up the families of?
Yes, to try to guide also the participant a bit.
Maybe slide 17 or?
Yes.
Francesco, Niria, you're muted in case you wanted to.
It is 17. Shall I share or?
I'm going.
Okay.
So I will leave these still a bit more open on the slide, and in a few I will open to some of the answers that we received. I just see 3 persons connected online on VooClap, so I don't know if there's the link in the chat. Let us know if you want us to share again the.
It's still the same link. It's in case you connected
the
before,
QR
it's
code.
still the same. Yeah.
I'm seeing the first So the first answer coming up. Don't hesitate to add, together with the business model you're looking at, don't hesitate also to add the name of your project or a few words more on what the business model should apply to. You can answer again, there's no limit, so there are no wrong answers. This really serves us to tailor the second part of the work we want to do together. Francesco, don't hesitate to start commenting if you have any comment.
Again, I am muted by myself and try to talk with you, sorry. And okay. Just one thing, so, Susanna, will we keep the log of this?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have the results of this. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a product life extension that is okay. I mean, roughly, it's the same idea that I had when once I read the description of the 19 projects. Roughly, these are sharing platforms is a very powerful one, my opinion. We have one slide in the second part of the presentation of the webinar, in which I will show you my idea.
Tell me, okay, we have 19 answers from 19 participants online now. 20 is connecting. Let me know when you feel we can move to the next questions. Next question.
We can give them another minute or so. We have 20, and I guess that 20 are the answer here, because of 5 columns for 4 is 20. I don't know if the other one.
Yes, consider also that 20 is the range of answer we can expect as good, because it's a bit less than the total number of thematic projects we have. So we will check which participants answered, but it should be a good champion.
Okay, thank you. Indeed, I have 19. Okay, yeah, you're right, please.
And of course, please don't hesitate here to raise your hand if you already have clear ideas you would like to share. This is to you, Francesco. Do you recommend that this exercise done for new business models that we could have in mind? By my side, it's just to add that not all projects have something on which to build a business model. So one of the key objectives of this webinar is to stimulate reasoning about potential need of business models.
Yeah, indeed. This question is which business model do you believe fits? Is not which is the actual fit. So the idea of this question is to, let's say, elicit if there is some idea of where a project could provide more, could be more relevant for one or more families. And okay.
I'm sorry, it just moved. I didn't want to.
No, it's okay, because maybe after, because all projects need a kind of self-analysis, understanding where are in the map of products, services, knowledge sharing, or asset sharing. That's why I think that they need a little bit of more self-assessment.
And now I see 58 participants again, so we are at full forces. let us understand which are the key areas where you think you need more support. This is a bit the mirror of the previous question or on what was your state of art on developing, understanding the need of business ideas, of business modeling. So start thinking about which are the key areas where you think you would like to hear more from us. We could still tailor a bit the rest of today's training session and focus the next one especially. So is this more about selecting and understanding where and on which area and which business model to work on? Is it more on making a bit of financial planning, understanding expectation of investors and private stakeholders and pitching those ideas, building partnership and scaling up partnership, or measuring both impact and risk?
Yeah, what Maria says, it's the same for me. I don't see the current question on VooClub. I'm still on the question before that.
That's a bit bizarre. Let me refresh the page.
Now yes.
Yeah, now
It's working.
no, it's okay.
Perfect.
In the meanwhile, there's one question for you, Francesco. Can we combine more than one business model?
Francesco, Nelia, you're muted in case you're. Wait, I don't hear you currently.
It's me, sorry. That's very interesting from Sophia. Thank you. This is one of the concepts. Business models are hybrid. So I mean, your business model is only one, okay? You will combine more elements to find your business model. You will not have two business models in the same initiative. That's clear. But since we are talking about families, indeed, you can combine two or more families, the characteristics and position where you actually belong to, and find a way. That's the game of sorry to call it game, but that's exactly the game that we have to do when defining the business model, and finding the right equilibrium will help us finding the right placement. And even you have given a name. I mean, you can give the name you prefer to a business model, but the characteristics are those ones. So indeed, it is a yes. You have to combine different families because circularity asks too many things. And the scheme that I can provide to you is only bidimensional, while the circularity at least is, a theory with and also practical with 6-dimensional understanding of the business. So it's kind of rubric cube, sorry. And so depending on the phase that you are trying to solve, that's exactly. So you can combine.
And also for us to know, one specific input is on planning how to have an impact on, I think, different dimension on sustainability. Okay, so answers are a bit more stable. Let me stress again, this questionnaire will be shared again with the self-paced mode. So you can take your time, go through questions again and answer them one by one in a different way or add different answers. So even if you didn't manage to answer today, you will still have the chance to do it in coming weeks. I think we can get back to the presentation just as a matter of timing. I would say, Francesco, we have 30 minutes for remaining contents, and then we have the final 20 minutes for the interactive session on conclusion, not on conclusion, sorry, on getting final feedback and inputs from projects and discussing with them how to proceed towards the next step. So you can take, again, control of the screen. And it was from slide 88.
88. Just, can you see it in full screen? Presentation mode? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
And maybe before that, we have another question. What's your advice related to ISO 59040 on product circularity datasheet? Do you have any opinion on ISO standard and
no, I
how
don't
to
have
approach
opinion
them?
on ISO standards because are standards. I don't have. But I mean, these are one of the elements that you should include as information, as a measurement, as a requirement for measure the quality and the effectiveness of the circular economy initiative, and then it is one of the things required by investors. We will see in the third part of this of the presentation today. So if it is required by the investors, I will say yes. But you have to provide information about the quality standards of your project, of your initiative, and also the circularity standards. That's for sure.
So would you suggest it as a starting point to approach measurement, or if not required, there are easier way to go to similar objectives?
No, well, it is one of the things that you have to measure. It's not only the first one. It is one of the things, yes. And I'll suggest to use as much as possible the ISO, because I mean these are matter of facts, and several private funds also require them as a blocking requirement. Private funds. I'm not sure because I have missed your face, Francesco. I'm not sure if I am presenting still or not.
Yes, but not full screen.
See? Good?
Yes.
No.
Okay,
Please
sorry.
go.
So, measurement assessment parameters for circular business models. It is, okay, the performance. When you measure the performance, it is important not only for you, but it's one of the information you should communicate to stakeholders, but also to private investors, and we'll see later. So we have to measure performance in the environmental part, social part, economy part, and also how to integrate this one. Most of them are information you know, so I will not spend too much time. The environmental impact metrics, carbon footprint, waste reduction, life cycle assessment. I always support the life cycle assessment analysis on the products, on the resources in a circular economy project, and also the resource depletion in terms of virgin materials. This is important to include in your metrics. Sorry. Okay, sorry, it's me. Okay. Social value indicators. In general, all the SDGs, but I mean, key indicators are job creation, because you work in a territory, and the territory is made of people. People need to gain money to live, roughly. Community benefits, benefits on local community, access to resources, reduced pollution, more time for people, I don't know, whatever, but this is important when you consider the social value indicators, the community benefits. So not only on the person, but on the single persons, but on the community. The social inclusion, so enhanced access to products or services for groups if this is a problem you want to solve, you have to consider as an indicator. If it is solved, health and safety, and this is the typical indicator, so improvements on worker health and safety, but also on people, and also even if reducing pollution is indirectly an improvement on citizen and population health and safety. Economy viability factors, these are only some, there are plenty, and I repeat, we need 6 months of university course to discuss about only this slide, the economy viability factors. So revenue, sorry? Okay. Revenue stream, so diversification of revenue sources, scalability, that is a very important information, scalability to provide to external investors, profitability, and then it's useless to stress about how much important it is to discuss about profitability, measure the ROI, and cost saving. Integration, sorry. Key integration in multidimensional manner. The social return on investment is one of the things that integrates several indicators for one big analysis. Integrated reporting combining financial and non-financial performance in a single report. These are instruments that smooth the process to communicate information, core information to stakeholders, but to potential funders, external funders. Now, when we can, let's talk about selection criteria for different project types. I will go fast on characteristic of Euromed area, sectoral consideration, then there will be some regional technology, stakeholders engagement and selection criteria. You will find here several, in the content, several slides. I will go fast on several slides and will focus better in other slides, but all the content is here. So the most important thing is that in the Euromed area, you have to comply with directives on climate change, circular economy, and sustainable development. For example, all the projects that align with EU Green Deal, circular economy action, mining strategy, framework directive. You work on this project, but this is important. And also, resilience and adaptation is one of the things that, in general, Euromed area as the climate issue, and it is important to build on that. But considering that you have already a running project, you have already performed this kind of analysis. You know that this information is here in the presentation. And if interested, you can go deep there. So favoring model that maximizes resources efficiency and minimize waste. Prioritize model that promote inclusive growth and create economic opportunities for practices. Focus on sustainable tourism practice, cultural heritage. When including the 4 thematic areas to the med areas, so we have different things, but I mean, again, you have already structured projects, you have already found your seat in this scenario. So marine, agri-food, industrial, and resources thematic areas can focus or should focus better, should work more on in the Mediterranean and Euro-Mediterranean area should work more on these topics. So climate adaptation, diversification, whatever it is. So in case you want to build a new project or a new initiative or reshape your business, you can consider this slide. Key regional and local context factors, you have to, this shape the suitability and effectiveness of circular economy model. You have to consider all these factors to make it practicable, sustainable, and acceptable by society. So consider the resources, consider the infrastructures, consider the policy landscape, local, environmental, not only the European one, the cultural norms, consumer behavior. I have I have heard about consumer behavior shift workshop that you did a couple of months ago. So that's very important. Economic structure, industry composition, social equity, technology capacity, and skills of people. So these are all things that you have to consider when selecting a business model into a territory. When defining a business model, okay, I will skip this slide because it's very full of content, but considering scope and scale, stakeholders engagement, data collection, flexibility and adaptability, policy alignment, and community ownership. Community ownership is important when you go on territory and talk about circular economy. Technology readiness. The technology must work. There is no way to have an exploitable project, a running project, so the TRL should be 9. What you have to consider, given that you have technology, working technology, is how this technology is available for the project for you. So you rent this technology, you have developed it, you need to pay something to use the technology. How much does it cost? How complex is, how much skill you need for use this technology, you and the other stakeholders use this technology. How can this technology integrate into other existing process, or scale it to other initiatives? This is very important when you want to understanding the scaling up of your initiative. Stakeholders engagement accessibility. You have to, the engagement of the stakeholders shall be mapped. Because the stakeholders could be completely unaware or unwanted to work with you, and you have to understand which are the stakeholders, the categories, the stakeholders, why they work with you, why they do not work with you, what is the requirement, which are the requirements, of the stakeholders. Also, considering the impact assessment to stakeholders, knowledge transfer to stakeholders, and feedback mechanism. How can I understand how much a stakeholder is engaged in my initiative? The key criteria. This is a long part. I will be able to shorten. We have the strategic alignment and feasibility, environmental and social impact, operational and technical consideration, risk and adaptability. These are the key criteria to families to define and adopt circular business models. So strategic fits, these are roughly the question. This is a very important slide. So you have to ask yourself, does the model align with organizational mission, values, and strategic goals? Does it complement existing activities? And you have a qualitative assessment on this. And resource availability and capabilities. Are necessary resources available? Do we have required expertise? And then you perform a kind of gap analysis or capability assessment. Market demand and viability. Is there a sufficient market demand? Who is the target audience? What are the needs? You have to do this because when you ask for private money, for a private fund money, then the due diligence analysis will ask you this, and they will perform by themselves to understand and check if you were right or not. That is important. Value proposition alignment. Does the model improve environmental and social responsibility alignment? This is quite important, I guess so. And also you have to understand if the value analysis for stakeholders and impact exists, and how much is it relevant for stakeholders, and also perform an impact analysis alignment. About the economy part, if it is profitable, you have to provide financial projection, sensitive analysis, and recalculation, not provide, perform. Then, about environmental impact reduction, social value creation, stakeholders accessibility and ethics, policy compliance, environmental impact reduction, or even this information is important to understand and measure, to create or evaluate, to understand, to focus on which business model, kind of business model or hybrid business model is more relevant for your project, for your initiative. So environmental impact reduction, you have to perform LCA, carbon footprint, whatever. Social value creation, social return on investment, stakeholder surveys or impact assessment, you can measure this, the social value creation. Stakeholders acceptability, again, stakeholder surveys, some ethical audits, some compliance check, some focus groups, do it. Policy compliance, it's much more simple because it is a desk analysis, so it's a kind of legal compliance assessment audit. It's simple. Environmental impact reduction, it's double, sorry of this. Technical feasibility, supply chain robustness, reverse logistics, data management. All these things are important to consider. So up to this information until policy compliance, these are endogenous information that you have to gather in your project. When you check on technical feasibility, supply chain, reverse logistics, and data management, you already start to go in the domain of the stakeholders that support you in the project. So you have to also consider the support of stakeholders, so the TRL, the cost-benefit analysis, the assessment of infrastructure of your technology applied to the territory, supply chain robustness, contingency planning. What if your first provider of a service is not reliable? What are you doing? If you cannot substitute, what happens? So this is a contingency planning and risk assessment. And this information we will see, is fundamental for private investment. Reverse logistics and data management, it's quite easy, quite typical. And then risk assessment, flexibility and adaptability. So how to plan scenarios, sensitive analysis if something changes, agility assessment if more than something changes. Risk assessment analysis, you have to measure with the impact metrics, mitigation plans, and probability. So you have a lot of things to do before understanding where is the right positioning, and if it is feasible. Because if it is too risky, maybe you will be able to finalize a project, but you will be much more. You will see difficulties in finding funds. So operative steps. So the operative steps, you have to assess the project organization against these criteria you have seen before. You have to assign scores, you have prioritize models that score highly across the areas, strategic and whatever. You have to continuously monitor the track performance of your model, of your project into the model. Here you can find a short checklist. This is the most simple. This is the simplest one. It's only an example. I will skip this one and go directly to the table just to say how it is this slide have been engineered. So for each of the criteria, you use the description and the criteria. I give you an example, then I skip. So the description of strategic alignment is how well does the circular business model align with the organization mission? Does it complement existing activity or require significant deviation? You provide, this is an example, evaluation scale from 1 to 5, like all the question or whatever. And you can provide an assessment to potential metric to achieve. This is a repeat. The simplest one, a generic one, you can build your own assessment metrics, and give the weight and the relevance to each answers. So you can do for all the parameters, and you can find in the analysis of these parameters in this presentation, but I will skip. So strategic alignment, you can see whatever, environmental and social impact. Let me skip operational and technical. So all the information you can find it is here. Risk and adaptability. And here what happens? Sorry. You can build you can build the relevance of the business models if you want to compare the two business models and which is the best one, which fits better to my project, to my initiative, circular economy initiative. You can use this kind of scheme, So strategic fit. You decide how much the weight is strategic fit. It's 1 to 5, could be 20%, 30%, could be whatever. And on the two columns, on option of the first business model and option of the second business model, you make your measurement. How much is the qualitative measurement? Excellent, good, fair, poor, provide a score on the strategic fit of both. And then you can do the same SSI for the environmental and social impact, for the operational and technical, risk and adaptability. Then you just, like in all the questionnaires, weighted questionnaire, you just build your final score for each of the business model. This is the easiest way to understand which business model fits better. If you have, if you are not sure between two or among more business models, create such a simple criteria mask, analysis mask, and measurement mask, and just decide which is the best one. The importance is that you have to tailor how much relevant are all these 4 elements, the alignment, the environmental, operational, and risk and adaptability. For me, all of them are relevant, but they could be different for each initiative, for each project. So you can use this, or you can build something new. I have checked, but this is my idea, okay? It's not, and I have not in hand all the information that you have for your project, but as far as I have read, as much as I have read of your 19 projects, this is a suggestion, preliminary idea. So in the marine resources, again, the to be blue is business model family knowledge sharing, leverages on community promote new form of collaboration, and the emphasis is the alliance to boost the BBT sector with external collaboration. So this is I have done for all the 19 projects here, also for the other projects. And my suggestion, if you want to perform this exercise to build value proposition design, to build the mask and check which is the most relevant business model for you. My idea is this one. So you have to find what your project leverages on and which could be the emphasis issue, emphasis cluster. These are only ideas, and I repeat, I only have a partial view of your project. So for example, but this is the first analysis for, as you can see, that's one of the things. On marine resources, we have on circular design and econ innovation, we have 2. Then we have a resource optimization and industrial symbiosis. For example, in agri-food system, we have smart and sustainable supply chains. And the emphasis for carbon farming is use carbon credits to incentivize farmers. This is very important. On the other hand, industrial transition, as you can see, for me, industrial transition all of them are more knowledge sharing and collaborative platform rather than industrial symbiosis. That's my view, but you can change it. It's important you build such kind of preliminary understanding and work on defining all the parameters and all the characteristics of your projects. And you can find everything. Not everything. You can find all your 19 projects here, and just take an example. Okay, it's not written in the stone. And if you want to see more things, you can check. This is a previous projects funded. You can find here a nice a nice set of tools. The project is Embrace, and they provide a circular business model toolkit. This is the link if you want to go there, and you have to sign on the platform, but I mean, it's nothing problematic. And you can find there content, training content, but also the tools for a toolkit for building a business model, should you be interested. It is in the agro-food sector, but I'm sure, I'm confident you will find very, very interesting, very tailored information should you be interested. And maybe I was rushing, but I guess we are on time, Francesco.
Yes, maybe we have to rush the final part before the last question and answers, but here we are again.
Interrompo?
Oh, you can leave it just a second if someone want to look at the QR code, or you have in the chat the
okay, sorry.
The link again. So I still see no one connected on VooClap. So another time, an invitation to join the link there. Can you see on the screen, Susanna? Can you see it, or still something to be refreshed?
I think I can. I mean, there's the question.
Yes.
Yeah.
So still a bit the.
I have to read the question. Sorry, because when I go in, full. Eccolo qua. Sorry, I've lost it. What is the question? I cannot find.
You have them in the chat. So the first one is, we really went through a lot of different parameters to be monitored. There were some comments before about ISO standard, which provides with the set templates and an approach to look and monitor of parameters. Parameters for planning and monitoring are a fundamental part for talking with private stakeholders and investors, and as we will see in the last section of the training part. So what are the hardest one?
Social. Social one. The problem is always there. Talk to people. I understand, and so sorry if I don't. It's not a joke, but that's a problem. I mean, it's a common problem, because unless you are leveraging a project with a very, very strong social presence, that could be, use the plastic vase in the ocean. Yeah, that's a lot. You can engage people in helping collecting vase from beaches. Yeah, you can do things. You can do campaign. Unless you do this, several circular economy initiatives are not so clear, are not so evident to citizens, and that's difficult. So you have to start understanding and building your social, your social added value communication. We have discussed a little bit. I showed a little bit in the first part. So the social value design, you have to understand and build this kind of message. Okay.
Oops, sorry. So I think we are not getting more. Yes, we are. Okay. Environmental impacts as well. Maybe I don't know if on environmental impacts you had any suggestion on approach to take some environmental certification, or developing tailored metrics, an external consultant. how to proceed on starting with mapping parameters fitting for financing entities.
Allora, sorry, the environmental one, it's really depending on the materials that you are doing. If you work with raw materials, if you work with transformation of raw transformation, if you are working with replacing products, depending on what you need, and you have to follow them. And let me answer by my points. The first, for example, when we talk about how to measure the social objective, we have to translate these social goals into measurable objective. You know, for example, social parameters are number of jobs. This is easy. Number of jobs is much more, is the easiest one, you know, but also if we want to comply or if you want to answer to a population need, what is this population? How did we get to this population need? Maybe did we make a survey on that? And then we can build on this population need a kind of survey, a kind of focus group, and understanding how and if the population is happy or whatever happens with the initiative. I mean, there is no standard, I'm honest, standard on social parameters. It's difficult. About the community ownership, this depends on the business model. Does the business model, does your initiative envisage or could it envisage a part of return, economic or benefit return to the community? That's one of the things of the characteristic that you should understand, you should know, and with this in hand, you can discuss about community ownership and how much you leverage the participation of the community when you plan when you have mapped your stakeholders. When I suggested at the beginning, map the stakeholders' engagement, what they do, what they don't do, which is the added value for each stakeholder. It's not only the economic operator, the stakeholders. Citizen, community is one of the stakeholders. So how much are you engaging them? Depending on the kind of engagement, you can define if they have something, if you can build something on the ownership. And this is much more easy if we work in a territory, or for example, the example that I suggest for the renewing or restoring of land on a Spanish region. I mean, you have the community there because, I mean, the community works and lives on the land, and it's quite easy to, to define how much, to which extent they could own, if they own an economic part, if they own only benefits. So everything must start from the stakeholders mapping, and then you decide how to measure them. I don't know if I have answered, but I mean, there is not only one answer. Social parameters are typical social parameters. Social ones are quite simple: health, job, well-being, whatever.
And Francesco, I have a big question for you because we have 17 minutes before 4 p.m. The last session, the last part before the interaction round, where still we would like to have a bit of your attention and participation, is on the funding landscape. So which are the key investment funding opportunities you can look at? Francesco, tell me if you would prefer to go through it very quickly or to directly jump it and go and send
No,
the
it's
participants
important.
material.
Let's see.
Yes.
I'm sorry that we are late, but this is very important. It's about.
Okay. So let me just warn participants that we will probably end at 4:10 rather than 4, but we will not go later than that.
Francesco, I will go fast.
The screen, you can take control
I will go
on the
fast,
screen
promise,
for the...
But it is important, please. Otherwise, dove sta?
142.
No, è questa, vero? Sorry. Dai. So let's talk about investment reading. I repeat, you have all the information here. Let's go through where are these information, how to attract private sector, blended finance, green bonds, and the steps needed. This slide I have to say. So privates are potential both for financial returns and social impact. So investors are like a lot financial returns and social impact also for visibility. Venture capital firms are very happy for innovative circular business models when they find one good. And they have to be hooked by a clear path to profitability and other kind of investment aligned with the growing trend of ESG, social governance. This is important. Now, depending on the maturity or the level of your circular economy initiative, you can check the support of venture capitalists, angel investors, or corporate sustainability funds. Venture capitalists, they invest in early stage circular startup. So you don't need to be at tier 9 in this case, but you have to show and be clear in the very high growth potential. Angel investors provide seed funding, mentorship to circular entrepreneurs with promising ideas. We are also talking about not industrialized solutions, so you can focus on them. While corporate sustainability funds provide funds to more mature and very close to industrialization ideas. Examples, we have a few examples of venture capitalists, corporate sustainable funds, and angel investors in Europe. You can find them here. Blended finance is an option, very interesting. So blended finance are due for reducing the perceived risk for private investors. So you can use the blended finance instrument provided by a bank, for example, to reducing the risk and going to a venture capitalism or angel or business angel and seeing them, providing them information. Okay, it is not more risky than you expected, because we are backed by by this blend finance from the bank. This is important. This approach is useful with projects with high upfront cost and enable a greater flow of capital into circular economy initiative. We can see we are talking about 20 million, 50 millions, 100 million of euro, very big initiative from banks. So we're talking about concessional loans, guarantees, and equity investment. Examples of this in your med area, we have the AEB green loan. So I guess you will have a webinar with the AEB, right? So perfect. They will discuss about this. Then we have the BP France, the FC guarantee, AEF Inofin guarantee. That is a commercial bank. For example, the concession loans. Let me explain. So the lender is AB. The public transportation, this is an example, is the borrower, and the beneficiary is the city government. While talking about equity investment, the ACFB invest with private investor, sharing risk and potential rewards, and the recipient is a packaging company, and the private investors is a co-investor. But also Life program provides a very interesting financial instruments. Other financial instruments, more innovative, let's say more innovative, but they exist, green bonds, social impact bonds, and crowdfunding that are included, that have been included to include much more other stakeholders that were excluded 10 years ago, roughly. And so green bonds issued to finance environmental friendly projects. Social impact bonds are performance-based contracts where investors give you a capital, but they want money. And crowdfunding platform, I mean, you know that. So green bonds, example, Iberdrola Spain and SNAM in Italy provides with these green bonds, talking about a lot of money. Social impact bonds, we have SIB and also the FSA in Finland, Citra, that we know better, IBN, Hambro, and crowdfunding platform Goteo, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, you know better that. And for example, the investor, service provider, and the payer are very clear who. So depending on how much money and how much risk, how much money you need and how much risk is the project, your initiative. The steps needed to access private fund. You have to build a good business plan, very strong, build a strong team, understand and protect your intellectual property. When you have to go and accessing to equity-based finance, you have to identify the target investor. So look, there are many websites or events organized. You have to prepare a pitch deck and investment material. Then you have to network and pitch to investor. It's simple. It's quite banal. It's very simple. You have to negotiate investment terms. So equity stake, board of representation, the exit strategy, valuation, equity stake, and liquidation preference, and the due diligence and closing.
Francesco, I think your screen is frozen. Can you try to move slides?
Dici?
You are at blended finance now?
I am access to equity-based financing.
No,
We see
maybe
blended finance. Yeah, maybe
we still see blended finance.
Oh,
maybe
okay.
try to refresh it.
Maybe
or
just try to
share again.
refresh or...
Allora, un secondo, sorry. I just interrupt.
And we lost Francesco at the very end of the... I will take these seconds just to stress maybe the follow-up work and the structure of this webinar and how it feeds the process we will follow up together until December. So I'll steal Francesco's screen. He will be, I'm sure he will be back with us soon in a couple of minutes, but at least we can anticipate a bit from conclusions. So let me just stress the first and second, the first row of this table. We will, oh, here Francesco's back. But we really want you to focus on the last part of this VooClap and to write us on specific inputs based on the materials shared today. This will be the solid foundation for the follow-up work and to tailor a bit on projects. Francesco, are you? No, we lost him again.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can
So
hear
sorry,
you.
sorry, I don't know what happened. Which is the last slide that you?
You were sorry.
The last
Not
one I saw
that
was blended finance. But...
Questa?
slide-
This is This was the last slide.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, just these are the blended finance instrument in med area. The green loan of a European Investment Bank, the guarantees from AEF, Innovin Finland guarantee, and also equity investment are very important, but also LIFE program provides a line of equity investment. We are talking about several millions of euro. The innovative financial instruments, and for example, the LIFE program can be coupled with existing projects in certain circumstances. So innovative financial instruments, we have can you see this? Sorry. Green bonds, social impact bonds, and crowdfunding, they have been introduced to include new stakeholders that were excluded before. For example, green bonds issued to finance environmental friendly projects. Social impact bonds, very important, very, very important. They are a lot of money. And performance-based contracts and provided by government or foundation or banks. We're talking about a lot of money. Crowdfunding platform, you know, they start. They are for very small projects, however. Example of bonds in the area, we have the Iberdrola and Snam about green bonds. Social impact bonds, we have the Finland, the FCA. We have Citra. Citra works a lot with the CCRI, I remember a lot. And crowdfunding platform, you know, Goteo, Kickstarter, and you can do it. But it's important that these bonds exist and they evaluate a lot your projects. Now, this is important. 2 slides important. The steps needed, you have to build a business plan, a strong team backing the business plan, protect your intellectual property. We are talking about accessing private funds. Not today, but if you want private funds, you have to provide guarantees. And research, identify the investors. You can go in events, you can go check in the website, you can check what they need, how to tailor your business model, for example, and prepare a pitch deck investment material if needed. It is always needed, but I mean, depending on the kind of investor, they will ask you for more or less information. Then the pitch to investor, negotiate investment terms. You can negotiate. So valuation, equity stake, board seats or control, liquidation if needed, and then the due diligence and closing. This is important because the due diligence and closing is the control that private funders do perform to understand if you have stated the right things in your business plan. So this is they will perform this kind of parametric analysis and status on your project or on your idea, and understand if it is true that you can access this market, if it is true that you have a number of competitors or potential revenues, whatever. This is important here. That you provide a good and realistic and reliable analysis before. Then we have debt financing, concession along the green bonds. You have to more or less do the same things. You know, identify guarantees and then again negotiate loan terms and wait for their due diligence and closing. Access to guarantees, it's quite the same, but you can say I will not bore you. It's quite 4 o'clock. And access to guarantees in case of banks, it is important. Identify guarantee providers and lending institution, apply for a loan and negotiate loan terms, depending on the kind of potential revenues from 5 to 10 years of your idea in case of banks. Social impact bonds, you have to secure investors, so identify social investors who are willing to provide upfront capital for your project while developing this proposal for social impact bonds. Then negotiate again, go to government or foundation payers and negotiate with your idea, with secure investors, and also implement your project and measure your outcome, you and your investor. In this case, you cannot be alone in the social impact bonds. Crowdfunding platform, you know, it's very easy. Do I have other 2 minutes, right? 3 minutes? I guess yes. So investor expectation, I will go very fast. Now, expectation, clear metrics, requirements. You can find here the requirements to provide the clear and quantifiable impact metrics. Credible measurement methodologies. You have two requirements of this credible measurement methodology. Regular and transparent reporting. You can use several kind of methods, but for example, sustainable accounting standard boards, global reporting initiative, whatever you use, it's better. And financial expectation, demonstration of revenue model viability. You have to provide all these requirements. Efficient use of capital, customer acquisition cost, customer lifetime value, use of funds, description of capital structure, description of debt of equity. This information are due if you want to talk with a private investor. And in case of scalability and replicability evidence, you have to provide the evidence of large market potential, competitive landscape, the business model with operational plan and funding requirements for your business model, the replicability in other markets, and so the market entry strategy, how much this is flexible to go not only in your territory, but in the other territories. About the financial planning, there are a lot of information. A lot of financial planning. This is the last slide, okay, of this kind of information. Clear projection, understanding of circular economy. I give for assumption that you understand circular economy. There is no need. Funding needs a use of fund, a realistic evaluation. The realistic valuation is the one that builds the due diligence exercise by private investors. So you have to provide a lot of information. You have to build on those information. Those information in a cascade logic understanding come from the analysis that you made at the very beginning on having a map, having an idea of your project, of your initiatives. And what to do to be appealing to private investors, I will go very fast. It is very important. I will go only, this is the, sorry, input, okay, impact measurement reporting is very important. You can see for each of these slides, which the quantifiable impact metrics, the data collection and reporting, alignment with standards, and minimum checklist item, yes or not on this. You can find this for all the, even for the financial performance projection. So in the slide, you will find what is needed for private investors, in a practical way. It is important, I want to share two things. Management team and governance. You have to demonstrate, provide evidence that you are committed. No one will give you money if you, for some reason, if you show some, if you're not convinced of your idea. So the strong management is fundamental. If there is an advisory board, it's better. And risk mitigation, risk assessment and contingency plan and insurance coverage. Also, the being backed by a bank, being backed by other investors could be a risk mitigation strategy. Legal and regulatory compliance, it is clear, and exit strategy for investors. So potential exit option. So you have to provide investors, okay, you can go away and I will pay you in 5 years, or the attractive evaluation, the minimum, demonstrate the potential for strong return on investment. And in this case, the investor know until which year their capital has been blocked to for your business. And you have to provide some example of guarantees or request practice if in cases, and some qualitative consideration, passion and commitment, adaptability, integrity. So if you want to scale up your project from the financing of the European Commission to something that is bigger and includes governments and includes private investor, you have to be really, really, really committed. It's not a game. It's now it started to be. Now we have finalized it. You know, we have in the last slides you can find some examples. What has been done. Invest EU is an instrument of the European Commission, considering that the Invest EU will have allocated 372 billion in additional investment in these years. And Intesa Sanpaolo and social bonds, they provided only into 2024, they provided 2 billions of euros on 77 loans. I can close here since we are. Oh, and there is the interactive assessment. Sorry to have rushed it, but I want to. I wanted to let them know, let everybody know where there is information.
Of course, that was also no. Thank you very much, Francesco, because it moving from wide and so broad theories provide concrete application examples. That wasn't an easy task. There was a lot of contents well delivered. I hope we will get the feedback of participants also. But now is really the part which is I saw a bit of decrease of participants because we are over 4 p.m. So that's understandable. But thank you for resisting, and let's say that this is up to you, Francesco. Let me know if you want to focus now on some specific question, because 6 questions to be answered and discussed might be too long.
It's not a specific question. I want to be sure if people have to go, that there are some questions. So in this case, the most important is this one. If the project does not include a task for financial identification, if the partners of the project have the competence to perform it, in case they want to scale the project results, the project outcomes into some realistic business venture. This is the first one. And then we have some other questions on interactive section. I don't know if you want to share the vocab or
yes.
Or I mean, I guess this is the one that I have.
Okay, we'll make the best of availability and the proactivity of participants which are already which are still connected and available. So still finances and alignment with country priorities is are 2 of the key. Also, it's one question, one comment in the chat that we from Well that we missed when you're going to the last slide.
I think the best thing to minimize the failure of this new project is to be done by the state government money. It will have as market the government need. Yes, it's not easy. I mean, okay, right, well, but I mean, the government need, they exist some circular economy projects with the government need. The last example that you can find in the slides is about SWAPI. SWAPI builds on the need to recover raw material from electronic devices like mobile phones to save cobalt and lithium. This is a problem of government, and roughly the problem is that more than 50, let's say 60% of used mobile phones are in the drawers of people and have not been put in a circular supply chain. And there is the possibility to save in 1 year 1,035, sorry, 1,350 tons of cobalt, only by picking the mobile phones that are in the drawers of the households in Europe. So this is a government problem. Even because, for example, the cobalt is mined in Portugal, for example.
Maybe I think also here a complementary question would be about to which extent public money can really help support which phase are we talking about, startup, project analysis, and when public money are not enough to move on and we need to start engaging private stakeholders.
No, there's no unique because with all the public money you can fund projects. European, I mean, I'm talking about Horizon Europe, but you can find projects from the very beginning, that from the proof of concept until the industrialization. So depending on the scale and the goal of the project. So with public money, you can go actually up to the market. And there are a lot of energy-related and transport-related programs of the European Commission that gives a lot of the money. And we are talking about 30, 40, 50 millions of euro, but because they fund infrastructures. Depending on what you need and when it is needed. And I don't know. The market, as a market, the market that is identified as a government need, we have few examples, honest, and you have to be lucky, I mean, you have to be smart and lucky to find. For private investor, it is important to provide evidence of economic growth in the medium term.
And Francesco, considering also the rate of answer is a bit decreasing, as we got a bit late, I would suggest to jump to the last question for the live session, and we will leave all participants. Then we will ask a bit surplus of attention offline with a follow-up questionnaire.
So, che sono queste?
So, just this is the real last qualitative effort to give us qualitative, not quantitative data about your ideas. So please try to participate a bit again. If you have your colleagues linked online who are not looking at now at the screen, try to wake them up and let us know in really few words what you think is the key challenge among the ones we went through today to planning, modeling, or scaling up your project or making it ready for investments. Prices, I guess it refers to prices of secondary against primary raw materials. That's fair enough. Of course.
So, funding, perception of the product, finding customers with willingness to pay and use our whatever proposition. And yeah, you have to build, you have to work on that. we can register. So maybe in the next webinar, we can focus on sharp answers to these questions, right?
Yes.
Okay. Prices of what exactly? Prices of raw material, of products, or of the services to sell? Well, we can check both.
Let's see still if we get to the 11 that were still actively answering until the last questions.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would just quickly move to yes. We have clear cluster of
Okay.
Thank you very much, and let me slowly move towards conclusion. So, as we were anticipating before, thank you very much to your participation and your inputs already gathered through this very dense webinar. Thanks, Francesco, for accepting the challenge of condensing so many relevant inputs into a single webinar. As you said, that wasn't an easy challenge at all. We will focus during the month of October into still finalizing the collection of input we had during this webinar. There were already so valuable inputs during the webinar, but we will ask to who didn't participate or to give us a bit more in terms of information, because this will lead us to the last session we will have in December, where we really want to build few business cases to be shared with external communities and analyze in detail the key criteria. We want to engage external stakeholders, like also the European Investment Bank, not only to hear and learn about which are the criteria they assess, but we want also to share with them which are the criticalities in accessing metrics, in accessing planning, in accessing business modeling challenges as we saw them today. We will be in touch with this VUCLAP with for your own pace filling, and then there will be an overall survey within the community of practice activities. Don't hesitate to directly write to me, Susanna, or Francesco Niglia for any specific question and input together with the materials that we will share together with you. We will have some bilateral contact. 29th of October, there's already a saved date for there won't be only the circular city centers. We are working with Maria on finalizing the agenda during the next community of practice, but we will look also most probably also at some Erasmus resources from an Erasmus Plus project on supporting tools for business modeling, but we will list them directly from European Investment Bank Circular City Center, what they look at before and in order to fund the projects. So that's a bit the what we we wanted to share. Thank you very much for the long attention, the participation until the end, and the proactive approach. We be sure we will be in touch from here to December.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Nice afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.